And so I wanted to get your perspective on engineering's relationship to the business and how you can't be a modern high level engineering leader without better understanding the business or vice versa. So, can you tell us a little bit about what you mean by that and bring us into that perspective a little bit?
We introduced some engineering tenets or leadership tenets for engineers that really represent our mindset and how we're thinking. And the first one of them, we called it build with purpose. And build with purpose really reverses the equation that sometimes is in the minds of engineers, which is you get enamored on a solution or on a tool, and then you try to find all the possible applications. In fact, the word application kind of even suggests that you do something and you try to find an application for it. So you apply it to a problem. But it should be the other way around. That's why I prefer the word service to application, because you're actually servicing someone or something. So it really starts from a need. Service starts from a need, is the job to be done. Application starts from the tool. So we like services over application.
I love that distinction. That's great.
And so the build with purpose is really like, what Amazon would call working backwards mechanism or process, which is you start from the customer first. You start by asking what is the problem you're trying to solve. You ask what is the benefit that the customer will get if the problem is solved. You also ask yourself, how do you know that that was actually a problem that needed to be solved? And then you really obsess over the user experience of that. And so we started to kind of, essentially reverse the mindset by asking engineers to write narratives and memos and PR and FAQs, so writing a press release before the product is even conceived, to try to see the end goal, to try to see how this will actually look like, even if you were announcing it today, as you haven't even started building that. And then refining that vision using a narrative style, which, by the way, the narrative is like you can't hide in front of a blank piece of paper. You can definitely hide behind a PowerPoint bullet. So narrative is so powerful because nobody can fill the blanks. You have to fill your own blanks. So anyway, so that is really like the shift of mentality. And I have to say that it was initially received with a little bit of resistance, which, it still is. But then we started to have Uber advocates and people that were really like finding a path of understanding of the why. And when an engineer feels empowered of really connecting a dot between your line of code and actually a customer benefit, or even better, from a customer need to your line of code, then the conversation changes. The inclusion of the business people becomes a default. There is no, I throw something on the other side of the wall and then something comes back. There is no wall anymore. There is a conversation. There is a constant conversation, a constant refinement, a constant interaction with the business and with the customer, which then forces you to have to apply modern software development techniques, because obviously if you do all this and then you release once a quarter, it's not really going to help you too much. Like today, the world is so complex that it's almost like navigating a minefield. And imagine if you're or an asteroid field, actually. And it's not like navigating an asteroid field. And when you navigate an asteroid field, if you don't turn often, you're going to be having some surprises. And so that's why iteration is so important. You need to release sometimes multiple times a day, because the world is changing in front of you and there are opportunities and obstacles that come all the time. But then what is your guiding principle? You have to have a vector, and that vector is the purpose, is why you're building it. And if you keep that in mind, then every engineer is going to start to feel not that they are a sort of a part at the end of a process that is more about execution. Is actually a strategic role, and that empowers people, and that's what actually allowed us to also attract some of the greatest engineers by just understanding that Goldman puts a central role in the business understanding by their engineering.